This episode will be titled The Homecoming. And then today we have a very nice cocktail, actually mocktail. All right, guys. Welcome to HR Mocktailz episode 3, The Homecoming. Today's guest will walk us through her journey from Canada to Rwanda as we explore personal and professional moves right over here. Welcome to the show. All right, my friends, welcome back to another episode of HR Mocktailz. This episode, I've got a very special guest for you, and we're touching on a very special topic. I think this is one that will be interesting to very many of you, and just super exciting. So for my guest today, I will be making a Tropical Apple Spritz. So I'm not sure if you've heard a lot of Aperol Spritz or just Spritz in general. These are cocktails based with champagne, just for a little fizz. So I'm going to be doing a mocktail version that you can make at home, super easy, nothing technical. And this one will be something that you could try on a hot day in the evening, just whenever you're trying to feel a little classy. So I'll start off with my glass, and then we will add a good chunk of ice. I'll put our ice block in here. So for our base, I'll be using pineapple juice. And if you're measuring it out, you want about 2 to 3 ounces. Just as your base, here we go. Awesome. All right, so once you do have your pineapple juice in there, you do want to squeeze some lemon juice just to balance out the flavors, because this will be a bit on the sweeter side, but the lemon will help you balance that out. And I'll get my lemon over here. Just give that a little squeeze. And the seeds are fine. Here we go. And then I'll be using Jolly Berry juice, but you can just use any berry juice that you can find near you. So this one is just a blend of strawberries, blackberries, and raspberries, which I think is really good. And I will measure out 2 ounces of this one. And the reason I measured this one out is because I do want to pour this a bit slower than the first one, just so you can see the layers start to build up for our mocktail. And here we go. Be nice and easy right on top. Awesome. So once we're done, I do want to add some mint leaves for our mocktail. And this is just as our garnish. I'll hit that a bit just to break it up. And it'll keep it nice and fresh. And I did find Appletiser, which is apple juice, but with a little bit of spark. So it gives you that champagne feeling without the actual champagne in your spritz. Here we go. Just add that on top. Keep it nice and bubbly. And you know it wouldn't be an apple spritz without some actual apples in our glass. So I'll bring some over here. And you can put as many as you like, but I will be using 2. Just add one in there. And add one in here. Just squeeze over here. Awesome. So you see your glass is already starting to look incredible. And just to finish off our mocktail, I will be using green apple soda. Give that an open. Nice. Here we go. So the reason I use both is because soda will be much more fizzy, and you do want to make sure it's not like too fizzy. You do want to have like something closer to champagne. So Appletiser is on the lighter side, and then combining the two just gives you a nice, refreshing flavor. And then just to finish things off, I will use some fresh rosemary and put that right in my glass. Awesome. So you can see how just beautiful this glass looks. And then to finish things off, all you need is a straw. Et voila. You have your Tropical Apple Spritz, good for any occasion, and I'm sure my guest is going to love it today. Catch you soon. Thank you. All right, guys, welcome back to HR Mocktailz, episode 3. You'll get to hear some stories about coming back to Rwanda after living abroad for so long. And then today we have a very nice cocktail, actually mocktail. We have our Tropical Apple Spritz, and my guest today will be Jessica. Welcome in.
Thank you.
So I'll give you a good cheers, and thanks for your time today. Cheers. Awesome. Wow. So, just to start, tell us about yourself.
Okay. So, like you said, my name is Jessica Ikiza. I recently returned back to Rwanda 3 months ago. And my professional background is that of a recruiter. So I've been in the recruitment space for almost 5 years now. And that is what I do as well here at Right Seats. So I'm very happy to be here.
Awesome. Yeah, it's actually really nice to have you and to do this. I know we've been speaking about this for months.
Yeah.
So my name is Ken. I actually didn't introduce myself in the first episode.
Yeah.
But my name is Ken Dekesi. I'm in charge of business development here at Right Seat. I also moved back to Rwanda in April, so it's been about almost 6 months. And I lived in the US for about 10 years. So it's really just been getting used to everything, work life, personal life, and everything.
Yeah, I know,
Yeah.
right? It's an adjustment.
It really is. But the first question today would be, what challenges have you faced since moving back? What do you think? How do you think your journey has been? And just tell us more about that.
Yeah. So like I said, it's been 3 months now. I would say it's been good. I think a little like you, I was fortunate enough to find work, which to me was really, really important. I did not see myself not doing anything for months on end. So I was really fortunate to right off the bat start working. I was actually working virtually for Celine and Denise in Montreal. So I worked for almost 6 months, and then when I came here, obviously, I got a permanent position. So 2 things I would say. First of all, I was doing what I was doing back in Canada, so I'm doing here what I was doing back in Canada. And then second, the fact that I have work really occupies my days, and so it kind of gives me structure. So if I can say like that, it really gives me structure in the midst of all the chaos that is returning home, yes, or just moving into another country, right? I lived my whole life in Canada, so it's definitely a change. It's a huge one. And I would say that the age that I'm doing it at is also really important, because let's say when you're like 18 years old, 20 years old, you can just take small, you just do whatever. You take whatever you have, and I don't know, your suitcase, and you move. But I'm 31, so doing it was definitely an adjustment, and it was definitely scary, actually. Yeah.
I can imagine. So I totally relate on that scary part. Because there's so many questions I had. Like, am I going to work? Am I going to stay at my mom's house for 6 months just sitting there, Because the past 10 years have been really hectic. Like, you have full-time school, full-time work, and it's just go, 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 go. So I guess like my biggest fear was just breaking that cycle of being constantly on the move.
Right.
So I had this fear, like moving, like even sitting down. I was in Atlanta right before coming here. And I was sitting down in the airport. I'm like, this is really happening,
Right. When you were taking your flight.
Flight coming. And I was just like, okay, everything's gonna be fine. But you land here, and it's so quick. Everything, like the fact that I met with Denise and Celine, got myself started, and it's just been an incredible journey. Like, it's went much more smoother than I ever thought it would be.
Right?
And these are all things that I was just like, fear, really.
I know. It's really just fear-based. I remember just telling my friends, like, it's so funny how my mind worked, because every time I would come back here or anywhere in Africa, I would have this feeling like, I want to return home. Like, I see myself living here, and at least trying it out. So I always had this longing to return, but when it actually was happening, like let's say 2 months prior, I was consumed with fear. Like, it was crazy, and I was like, how is my mind doing this to me? I've always wanted this, and how is it so scary?
It's like, why now?
Right? Like, why now? But
so coming back, what has been like your biggest culture shock professionally? Or even personally, like anything that's like stuck out to you, like, oof, I wasn't prepared for that.
Right. I think professionally, not necessarily within where I work, but also because we work with different clients, and you get to see their culture as well, like their in their own organizations. I would say for me is how much I would say like employees are not as vocal as what we see back home. Well, okay, I'm gonna say home and refer to Rwanda and then say home. I lived there my whole life.
Yeah.
But anyways, from Canada, or maybe in the States too, you can relate to that. Like people talk, like in the meeting, it doesn't matter who you are in the organization, you will have, it's actually looked down upon if you don't say anything.
You gotta speak your mind.
Yeah, you have to speak your mind, right? You'll get pushed back or pushed away if you don't. Whereas here, it's a bit different. Yeah, I don't know what it is. Yeah, but it was definitely a shock because I would like speak up and then sometimes it's not. I don't know. It's a bit different. It's definitely different.
No, I definitely agree. Because we do, I think culturally, like we respect our elders and we don't really tell them exactly what's on our mind.
Yes.
Like on the other side, like professionally, you need that opinion. Like if I'm working with you on a project, I would want you to tell me exactly what's on your mind.
Right. Yeah.
Don't be, but I think that is definitely a huge shock.
Yeah.
I also had one, but it's a bit on the. I should have done more research because I had this fear in my mind. Like when I met Denise and Celine, I was like, one of the questions I asked them was, do I have to wear a suit every day? I genuinely did not want to. I'm a big sneakerhead.
Yeah.
Very casual. I'm just like, suits enough for me. Maybe in the future.
Yeah.
But right now, I'm just not in the whole formal thing. And
yeah.
that's just having the freedom to express yourself and go to work, dress exactly how you want.
Yeah.
So another thing I did want to ask you was, being back, is there anything you've loved so much that you just didn't have back in Canada?
In Canada. So a lot, definitely a lot of things. I think I mentioned earlier, the sense of community that you have as a human being, you always want to have that. It's a need, it's a necessity. I would say back in Canada, you don't, it's very individualistic. I say it's an individualistic culture whereby you do you. Basically, no one bothers you. You're pretty much just a number, unless you're not. But yeah, so you can have that feeling, and so you have to go out of your way to create those communities if you want them. Here, it's very different. People will look for you. People want to see how you're doing. They'll come see you at the house. Like, I've had more people come than I've had in my whole, like, let's say the last 2 years in Canada. I've had it more, like, I've been here for 3 months, but it's definitely more. I've had more gatherings at the house, more than I've ever had in my
2 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That I definitely agree. One thing I've started to love so much is Sundays.
Yeah.
I dreaded Sundays because I was working on homework. And I just knew that tomorrow's Monday. I'm going back to the work week. Yeah. But here, Sundays are for family.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get to hang out with the fam, and it just lasts all day till 8, 9 o'clock, and you have to go to bed. But it's just these little things that just make it so worthwhile. You know? And you did touch on it being an individualistic community in the West. Yeah. But I do love the fact that we are very community oriented, you know? Yes. Yeah, so definitely a good point. And then for you professionally, what has been the most rewarding part of transitioning your career from Canada? Because you are still in the same field. Yes. But have you felt anything like really rewarding since moving back? That I took from Canada, or that I learned that was beneficial here, you mean? Correct, yeah. I was fortunate enough to know a couple of people here in my family. Some of my family members had either already returned back, and so they were young professionals as well, so they kind of guided me to who I should talk to, mainly Denise. And so that was definitely huge. And then there are a lot of communities on either like social media or
anyway, there's just like a lot of communities that you can participate in, or that will give valuable information for you and what it means to return back home and how to prepare, whether it's financially or mentally, to return back home. There was a huge wave of people returning to countries in Africa, whether it's like I think there was Ghana, I think it was in 2019, just right before COVID.
Yeah.
So a lot of people who were going back to Nigeria or Ghana, and so because of that, I think then that then created those communities that give great tips on what to do, and you know, not to. There was one tip that actually struck me is this lady, she was saying, a lot of us, when we go back to Africa, we try to reinvent the wheels, and we try to take what we got from whatever country we're from, and then apply it here. But the thing is, we do it out of we kind of think that we're superior, or maybe I don't even know how to say it, but then she was just saying that you have to first study the market, and then do something based off of the findings that you have, right? Because we tend to think that what we learn in the West automatically will apply here, or that it's better than what is here. So yeah, great tips like that.
Oh,
how about
man. You just touched on something, because there is this sort of like preconception that, hey, I studied this in the West, that means it's right.
Right.
It might be right in the US, but it doesn't apply to our market.
Yeah.
And that's something that that personally took me some time to understand, because you have to understand the market, like you said.
Yeah.
And then just pretty much everything you've learned, twist it around to sort of apply it to exactly where you are.
Exactly.
Because the concepts pretty much are the same, but they're not exact to a T.
Yeah.
And that's why, like, some tools that really helped me was, truthfully, Instagram is number one.
Right? Yeah, there's so much.
There's too much on Instagram. You just scroll through and you're like, oh, that looks cool. Oh, yeah. And then also, just looking for jobs. I use jobs in Rwanda a lot. And then also learned about Right Seat as I was just searching through stuff.
Yeah.
So really the internet was like top tier, like when it comes to the tools. Right. And of course, like, family did play a huge role too. Yeah. And then on a professional level, what knowledge or skills from your previous job in Canada have you applied here in Rwanda so far?
So like I said earlier, I was in talent acquisition, and here I'm doing the same thing but before I used to be an in-house recruiter, which is what for a specific company. Here it's more of agency style, so you get to meet with different clients. I would say the biggest thing that I learned, one of the skills that I acquired there that I'm taking here, is definitely customer service. Even when you're in school, the types of jobs that you get are more centered on customers. So they're very, very big on customer service. And so because I get to speak with different clients here, I would say customer service and communication. Communication, not to say that I'm the best communicator in the world, but maybe not to shy away from conversation.
But that actually brings me to my next question.
Yeah.
So how does the professional environment at Right Seat or in Rwanda completely differ from Canada?
I would say that because of different movements that happen in the West, mainly what was happening during COVID, the race is very big in the professional environment back in the West, but it's not here, right? It's not. We're the majority. We're not the minority there. We're not the minority here, and so that really kind of affects you, to be honest with you. There's certain things that you don't have to think about, and that is huge blessing. So I would say race is a big thing in the professional environment over there, and it's not here. And to compare here and there, I would say that because of the, again, like in French they say it's un couteau à double tranchant, meaning that it's a good thing. It's polarized, so it's a good thing, but at the same time it's also a bad thing. I would say that here professionally we're very familiar with each other. It's very community based, and we're very familiar with each other, and that to me sometimes can get in the way of professionalism. So there's a very fine line that I found. So
true. I totally agree. Because I think we are very nice to each other in general, and we try to be like. If I send you an email, for example, I'm sort of used to a response time of under a business day per se. But I've seen it go 2, 3, 4 days.
Without response.
With no response. And when you respond, it's like, okay, that's okay.
Yeah,
you took your time, but it's fine.
You took your time. It's okay. You were busy, and it's not like you don't have that. I don't even know how to explain it, but you get it. It's like it's definitely different.
It definitely is, and that's okay. It's just the pace, And I think that professionally, like that was probably one of the biggest things. It's just the speed of the way we use emails. But on a personal, professional level, what are your long-term goals? Like since you're back now. Tell us more about that.
I mean, it's been 3 months that I've been back, so I would say that for now, I don't have it all mapped out. However, being in Rwanda, I think, is the best thing that could ever happen, honestly, because of its location, and I'm Rwandan, so I would say that. But I think traveling around Africa would be really big. When you're in the West, it's really difficult to take a plane for 14 hours and go somewhere for 2 weeks. You'd rather just do it where it's kind of closer. So being here, I would say that would be one of the biggest thing for me, is to travel around. That's more personal, and then professional, just grow, understand again the market, and adapt to it, and see where it leads me.
Definitely.
What
So
about you?
I think one of my long-term goals really is I want to be in a place where I impact the country. Because I feel like we're in the growing economy, and I just want to find my space and contribute to our goals. Because 20 years from now, and I just hope that we're like a Singapore of Africa, like a mega hub. And I think that's what the goal is. But I really want to contribute to that on a professional level. And of course, like personally, settle down, get kids, the usual. The usual, just have a normal adult life. Because I'm pushing 30, and it's like, it's about time to start to chill. But other than
the pressure is worse there.
Oh, it is worse.
Here it's bad, huh?
So being, 28 and stuff, and you're still like not married. The pressure
That's
comes
how
out.
they greet you. Like, hey, are you married yet? See, it's definitely bigger here.
It is, and ain't nobody gonna ask you that, in the West. Like,
no, what?
That's your business.
You're still so young. You still have your whole life,
exactly
ahead of you. But
definitely,
but it's fine. I can understand. I can understand why they would want.
But Jessica, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
I hope you enjoyed your drink, and
it was really nice. It was so fun, but the conversation was even nicer. So then I didn't even get to drink it, but
hey, that's HR Mocktailz for you right there. Thank you so much once again, and I hope to see you soon.
Yeah, of course.
All right, and guys, thanks again for another episode. And of course, if you like this, just drop me a like or subscribe, leave a comment. I don't know, just interact with us, and we'll catch you for the next episode. Thank you.